Good morning. As promised yesterday in the email, canceling class, I have now uploaded the sample answers. For those of you who have been unable to find them, I will now show you where they are. If you are looking at the module, Activity 1 Primary Source, located again over here under Week 3, Activity 1 Primary Source Activity, here are the CTE sample answers for scoring. So I'm going to go through the instructions for how to do this. It's a little more complicated than I would like, but then to be fair, I didn't design this. This was designed by the exact committee. I think it's a great exercise. I really like the requirement because I think that it's a good example of the complexities of trying to analyze a primary source. So at this point, you've all submitted part 1. We're going to talk about part 2. Primary source activity, part 2. It is going to be due Saturday night, and one of the reasons I went ahead and opted to change it from this past weekend is because it actually requires more work than I think you should have to do at one sitting. So in this one, this is going to count as the second part of your CTE. It's going to count as another CTE. Let me put it that way. It'll be another 5-point CTE. It is required, though, like the first one, so you need to do it. Okay, so you've submitted your responses. This video is not there yet because obviously I'm making it right now. So in the future, when I post this, it will be there and linked. So you can open the following folder or look at the folder samples in this module, which is the one I did before. If you open this folder, I'm going to do it in a tab and show you, it's going to come up to all of my files. So where you're going to look is right here in the requirement. Sample 1, this is all 19 of the different samples that I have. You're going to pick one of those. If you want to do 2, you are welcome to. I kind of think that's not a bad idea, mainly because some of the answers are so diverse that I think it will be helpful in making you think about the different ways that people can respond to this. So if you want to do 2, I encourage that. Just be sure you identify which one you're working with. Which ones you're working with. You may do them in one file, you may upload 2 files. What I'll do is whichever one is the highest one, I will count for the CTE grade itself, for your second CTE grade, and the other one will go into your extra credit kitty. So it's entirely up to you as to how many you want to do. I don't encourage more than 2 because I don't want you to take that much time. But, all right, so you're going to pick the answer or answers that you want. And you're going to do that by going to this scoring rubric, which is located here. And you'll have to download it. I'm going to upload it now, and we're going to go through it. All right. So this is the rubric itself. And as you can see, the first thing it does is it goes back through the requirement. Now, what you're going to do is evaluate based on what the answers are for the student that you're doing. So was the sole purpose of this document to justify making war on Native Americans? Well, the answer is no, it wasn't. For those of you who put yes, you might can see why, but the answer is actually no. There was a lot going on in this document, and it's very complicated. For this particular one, the answer is effectively no. I would actually, sorry, give it 1 point if they put no. Otherwise, no grade. All right, then for the second one, why do you think that? Provide at least one piece of evidence and explain. You are allowed to go back and change your previous answer if you wish. So in this one, what we're looking for is specific information from the text itself. You can earn up to 2 points here. The student answer that you're grading can earn up to 2 points here. 1 point for each relevant piece of evidence and another point for explaining it well. And what this means is that you're going to be looking at this and determining whether you think the answer that you're looking at gave a relevant piece of evidence or gave 2, if they did, and explaining it. Why do you think that why did this student think that this was whatever answer they give at the top, and how well do they explain that. So there's your 2 points, possible 2 points for that one. If you don't think they explained it well, then you don't give a point for that. But you have to explain in your answer whether you think it was explained well or not. All right, so the student will then, as you did, re-examine the document and come up with 2 pieces of evidence that support a different interpretation or different interpretations of the document. And for this one, you're going to be looking at something that's up to 4 points, in which, again, you're looking for a good piece of evidence that is opposite to the evidence in question 2, and again, for that good explanation. And remember, a good explanation is thorough. It's actually trying to parse the language of the document and explaining it. As it says here, a really clever student may realize the Spanish were trying to follow a legalistic path for justifying war, which in some respects they were. Simply attacking is not just, and that is because of the Catholic Church's belief, and the Spanish, again, zealously, militantly Catholic, believed that a just war was one in which you were effectively defending your religion, or you had a legitimate reason for war, as in you had either been attacked first and you were defending yourself, the other side was doing horrific things and you were again defending yourself and protecting. So under the whole theory of just war, first purported, I believe, by St. Augustine, war had to have a specific reason and a specific cause, and usually it had to be more defensive than offensive. And if it was offensive, you had to find a way to make it defensive. So this is all part of the construction of their zealously, militantly Catholicism. Informing them of their wrongness, them refusing to listen, and then attacking was considered just. So by effectively informing them that they were wrong, not to conform to the Spanish ways, seeing them refuse to listen, at that point then the whole idea was that you're trying to salvage their souls, to keep them from going to hell by killing them before they do any more. But again, it's not the sole purpose. There are other things going on here. All right, for question 4, the student is going to be answering based on their current understanding and how confident they are in their original reading of the document. This is one that's problematic to grade, and what you're actually looking at is not whether they're confident or their understanding. You're looking for them to basically acknowledge, again, that the document had many different purposes, and they must explain themselves clearly as to what they thought those purposes were. So this can be up to 2 points. You don't have to give 2 points. It can be up to 2 points. But again, there's got to be a really good explanation for the different purposes the document was designed to accomplish. And then the last one is, of course, the most complicated. With this one, you can go up to 4 points, 1 point for evidence, 1 point for the explanation. And this is where you're thinking again, or where the student hopefully has been thinking outside of the document itself and thinking more about the people who wrote the document, the motivation of the king and queen for having this document written, the motive of the theologians for having this document written. So what you're looking at here is evidence outside the document itself. And there can be some really good ones as long as they are well explained. I mean, there are a lot of different potential things out there, and this is a potential list of them. Looking at Palacio Rubio's, looking at the theologians, looking at the king and his ministers and what they were hoping to accomplish, looking at the conquistadors who are reading this and what they're thinking. Look at other religious people on the ground in the Americas, and anything like that. Do not, we're talking about actual true history here. We're not talking about speculative future history or the idea of going back in the past and, things that are completely and totally hypothetical. So that is a poor answer. You want to look at things that are actually in existence today that we can go to try to broaden the context of this document and what it means. All right, so with all of that in mind, what I suggest is that when you pick the sample answer or answers that you want to work with, you download them to your computer. They should be fine for doing that. Or copy and paste them into a new file. And then you can put your responses under their responses, or where you're grading them. You can put your grading points to them as to why you think they are either good or bad answers, or whether you think this evidence was valid or not. You can either highlight it, put it in a different color, do something so that I know that it's yours. Actually, I would suggest either that or do it in bold so that I know that it's yours. Then you're going to save your responses to their response, upload the whole thing together into the Dropbox. And I will show you going back to our thing here where it is. Primary source activity, scored exercise. It's going to bring you to the Dropbox, the requirement part 2 submissions, and you're going to upload it there. Now, there is a third thing that you must do once you have finished this. Let's go back. Right here, after you complete the exercise, you need to do the SLOL reflection, because this is where we're asking you to consider what you're doing. You're going to click on that link and you're going to answer, I think it's like 3 simple questions. You have to do that. I can't grade this until you do that, because this is what the exact team, which is what this is for, is looking for. This is supposed to be a construct of an interdisciplinary approach to teaching history. You guys were selected as the target group for this first run with it. So you need to upload, you need to go after you finish uploading the exercise, you need to go answer those questions in that reflection. And again, I want this all, if possible, done by Saturday night. All right. I think this is pretty straightforward at this point. I'm sorry again that it's not a little more simple. If you have questions that I don't answer in this video, email me and I'll try to do it. But again, your response to this is actually due on Saturday night by midnight. I'm going to go back one more time. We're going to go back to the module for students right here. And I'm going to show you again. Maybe I am. Come on. Right here, CTE samples answers for scoring. Right here's where they all are, and there are 19 of them. Like I said, you close that. If it comes up, you're going to click on the little arrow down, and it's going to give you all of them. And they're all in Word files, so you can, like I said, either open it and copy and paste it. Well, actually, it's going to download to your computer, so you can answer it however you want to. But just be sure that when you upload it to the thing, I know which one you're actually working with, even though, again, it should be in the document. Your answer should be in the document under those of the actual student who addressed it. Okay. If you have any questions that I don't answer in this video, email me or bring them up in class tomorrow. And I'm hoping that I will be in class tomorrow. That is my plan. Okay. Thank you for your patience. Sorry this was problematic. Sorry I couldn't get it done yesterday, but just staring at the screen made me quite nauseous. So I didn't figure you needed me throwing up in class. I will talk to you all in class tomorrow. Hopefully you will see this today, Wednesday, and begin to get a start on it.